on top of the world, about to jump above it. Take it straight to the moon, 'cause we know how to rock it. Ain't no thing you can do, ain't no way to stop it. Now you're feeling it too, let's get it started. Throw your hands in the air while the beat is dropping. Acting like you don't care when everybody's watching. Just keep whipping your hair like that, you got it. Yeah, you're feeling it too, let's get it started. I'm ready, ready. Let's get it, get it. I'm ready, ready. Are you ready, ready? Let's get it started. Charts off the meter, turn it up, blow the speakers, make them all to believers. Break through the surface, tell them open the curtains, give them all what they wanted, yeah. Now let's get started. I'm ready, ready. Let's get it, get it. Yeah, I'm ready, ready. I'm ready. Are you ready, ready? I'm ready. Let's get it started. Yeah, yeah, I'm ready, ready. Let's get it, get it. I'm ready, ready. Let's go. Are you ready, ready? Let's get it started. Let's get it started. Let's get it, get it. Let's get it started. Let's get it started. Let's get it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Give me something new. Time to break loose. Take it to another level. Now we on the move. Shout if you coming with me. Going over the limit. On your mark, keep it steady. So tell me, are you ready? I'm ready, ready. Let's get it, get it. I'm ready, ready. Are you ready, ready? Let's get it started.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Maine Sim Racing Series presented by Mainly Ductless Heating and Air. Tonight, the drivers, one of the last Wednesday night races of the season. We're changing things up. Points no longer on the line as Devin Landry got that of the super late models and the late models points championship here on the Wednesday night racing. But instead, we're changing things up. We're going to be seeing these drivers going to be racing in, as you can see on screen, the Legacy Coupes here at Oxford, as it is the Oxford tonight, going to be racing here at Oxford for that of the Beach Ridge Barbershop 75 here tonight. Excited for all the racing action. My name is Sam Dyer. Joining me is going to be Kevin England, as well as that of Jacob Young, going to be joining us periodically throughout the night. But Kevin, excited for tonight's racing, changing things up. Thanks for joining us, by the way. I know this is one of your first times seeing these Maine Sim Racing Series drivers hit the track, but should be a good one for here with these Legacy Coupes.
Yeah, being someone from the Northeast in New Jersey, I certainly know the history and the heritage of this Oxford Raceway, and I've run this in the sim here and there, just playing around. And I'll tell you what, I'm super excited to see how these Legends cars are going to get around here. We're going to have a great race tonight.
And tonight is going to be an awesome night of just racing in general. Again, we've got our heavy hitters that we've seen all season long. Devin Landry, Max Cookson, Matthew Burgoyne are three drivers that have dominated that of the late models and super late models on Wednesday night and Saturday night racing. There's a couple of other drivers, though, that we're excited to see what they're going to be bringing for us tonight, as we're going to take a look at our race information and see what we're going to be tackling here as the drivers currently having practice going on. We've only got that of a little bit less than 3 minutes to go. Then we've got ourselves a last alone qualifying session, 2 laps to put down your fastest times for 3 minutes. Then, if needed, which it's looking like it will be, so we have ourselves a 25-lap LCQ where 6 drivers are going to be moving on, and also for qualifying, the top 16 move on. Only 22 drivers get to move on to the featured race, and currently right now we've got 23 drivers that are trying to make it to the featured race where money is on the line. Drivers are hoping for the best, and that money that they're going to be grabbing, pull from that of qualifying, gets $20, and the winner of the featured race gets 100. And so, Kevin, yes, there's no points on the line, but there certainly is cash.
And this is the type of race a driver, they like this kind of race. They can run without any impunity. They certainly need to be careful. When you look at the way the event's going to break down, mission number 1, get qualified. Mission number 2, if you're not qualified, get your way in through the last chance race. And then with the number of laps, and as petite as this racetrack is, you're not going to be able to rest on your laurels. You're going to have to run hard all the way through this event. Get yourself some track position and see if you can score the win and take away the payday.
Also, something new and different from all the previous races, drivers have had at least one extra set of tires to work with. That's going to be something that they're not going to be having for the featured race. Kevin, that's going to be another factor for these drivers, tire wear, and conserving that for the later stages.
Yes, surprisingly, these cars have a considerable amount of power, and for this racetrack, well, there's not really a straightaway, even though there's 2 of them. You run in the arc all the way through, so you're using the tires through that 4-wheel drift. You roll the car in, and we were talking to Sean Kimball on the intro here and asked him, do you back the corner up or do you charge it? Do you run the car hard off the corner? He said, you just kind of run it till the extreme, but try not to wear the thing out. So it should be interesting to watch how these drivers attack this racetrack tonight.
And you saw their drivers still practicing right now as we take a look at our weather, sponsored by that of ML Performance, as ambient temperature going to be that of 77 degrees, a little bit of a breeze at 3 miles per hour, but it's that mostly cloudy that could be affecting the track temp that currently is at 84 degrees, but that's going to be transitioning and changing for qualifying and for the race. That's going to be something to watch out for, as again, tire wear is going to be a factor to watch out for. We're hoping fuel isn't a factor to watch out for, but caution laps do not count, and we're going to get confirmation on this, but I do believe even for the LCQ, caution laps won't count for that. But before we get to the LCQ and we get to racing action as drivers are having fun, practice is coming to an end. Qualifying is here in the top 16. Move on to the featured race automatically. Kevin, this is it. You got to get your track position. Any mistakes, and you're going to have to race your way in.
And the big unknown for you is if you got to run that last chance qualifier, you got to make sure that you can keep it clean. Somebody gets sideways in front of you, you got to check up. You're going to be in big trouble. And well, let's see what kind of lap times these guys put in. First one out there is Bryson Parrott in the number 27. He's going to put his first lap time in as we see him charge turn number 3.
Going to be coming around the last couple of banks, and you can tell on the inside there's curbing there that if you hit it, your car is going to get unsettled and it's going to be dangerous, as going to be seeing that of Bryson Parrott, a driver that has not raced very much this season. So excited to see what the 27 is going to bring here tonight, as drivers coming across the line was about 1.182 off of our pole sitter. Lap 2 doesn't change it very much, as the 27 going to be currently 8th on the board. A driver, though, came in the middle of the season, been a little off on the speed. Going to be that of David Greenleaf. That's hoping that qualifying can just set the 58 into our featured race, and they don't have to worry about an LCQ. You see the 58 riding right around the inside lane, and Kevin, that seems to be where the comfortable spot is for a lot of these drivers, is that inside lane, and this could turn into just a one-lane groove where drivers feel the most comfortable there.
Yeah, shortest way around the racetrack, obviously, is the inside lane, but you could see that David was up just a little bit. That allows him to sweep out on the straightaway and turn the car down in. Maybe you can get a little more speed coming in and coming off, and see where that slots him in. Looks like about 11th right now on the podium.
One of our heavy favorites coming into the night was extremely fast in the super late models and in the late models. It's Max Cookson putting his first lap down. We'll see if the 39, and immediately lap number 1 takes the pole position. And that's done. Max Cookson, he is taking the top board. Another driver to watch out for, Matthew Burgoyne. History between Cookson and Burgoyne coming into the night. But the 38 comes across the line, trying to best, but not going to be good enough with that lap, and just dumps it after finishing his qualifying time. It's going to be 5th on the board. Some other drivers, he's going to be one of the last to put a time down. Tyler Conley doing his best, going to be starting his first lap. And Kevin, this 31, to make it into the featured race without even trying, he's got to beat out. Oh no, he had to beat out that of David Greenleaf, but with that time, and there's not enough time for him to get back on the track. The 31's got to go through the LCQ. As you see, Conley going to be trying to get back out on track, but not enough time. And with that, we're going to be seeing the drivers get a little bit of a rest because it's time to see how they're going to be attacking. There's going to be 7 drivers going to be hitting the LCQ, but only 6 of them will be moving on to our featured race. So drivers are getting gridded up. This is going to be our first racing action to be seen here at Oxford here tonight, as tonight's race is that of the Beach Ridge Barbershop 75 here tonight. All the drivers been waiting. This is the last week of racing for this season for the Maine Sim Racing Series presented by mainly Ductless Heating and Air. But let's get things started. Front row, it's going to be that of Trevor Graffam taking the pole position here for the LCQ with Ben Burgess to his outside. Row number 2 is going to be finding the 75 of Stephen Allen as well as Chris York. We fall back to row number 3 where we find that of Chris Burgess and as well Dan DeSanto going to be in the 21. Row number 4 is going to be seeing one of the drivers racing. That's going to be Tyler Conley. As that of Kimball is going to be our race control for tonight's evening. Those are the 7 drivers going to be racing here tonight, gridded up, getting ready to go. It's going to be 25 laps of hard racing here at Oxford Plains Speedway. And the goal is finish in the top 6. One driver's not making it to the featured race. Who is going to be in that placement as the drivers are making sure they're settled before we start rolling away.
Yeah, I would think job number 1 here is get to that inside line, try to get yourself in that top slot, and also watch that rearview mirror. If somebody's going to come and give you a tap, 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 you're going to want to make sure that you keep that car pointed in the right direction and just do whatever you can to get up front. Also, look out the front window. Make sure that the driver in front of you is not going to mess up, catch the curb, do something wrong that's going to take you out of this. So, yep, out the front, out the back, you got to pay attention while keeping your foot on the loud pedal.
Going to be trying to find that speed to make sure you're up front. And again, these drivers racing to make sure they make it in the featured race where you're going to be seeing who can get the money. Only the winner has cash on the line, $100 to the winner. And for these drivers, where they finish is where they're going to be placed. So the higher you are, if you win the LCQ, means you're going to be starting 17th place. Only 22 drivers are going to be racing here tonight for the featured event of that of the Beach Ridge Barbershop 75. And going to be one driver part of this, Kevin, not making it. That's a lot of pressure on their hands, but the drivers getting set, getting ready. We got one more pace lap to go before we go green flag racing for an LCQ.
Yeah, nobody wants to sit on the sidelines, but they all know somewhere in the back of their head that it could be them. So here, they have to have a mistake-free race. And if need be, we're going to see something interesting. I think a lot of drivers are going to occupy that low line, but if you're the last one there, you may have to go to the high side to get yourself into tonight's event.
It's going to be that of Trevor Graffam. Ben Burgess going to be your front 2, ready to make it. Who's going to be moving on to the featured race? 3 flags out, and we are going into turn number 1. It's going to be Graffam and Ben Burgess going to be side by side, trying to make sure that they're the first one. It's Burgess survives with a great pass on the outside. An excellent launch, and it's Graffam that has to fall back in line. Top 6 currently. Ben Burgess, Graffam, York, Allen, Santo, and Chris Burgess going to be your top 6. That of Conley needs to crack himself into the top 6 if he wants to move on.
Conley to the bottom trying to find that lane. He's going to work his way past now. He's got the challenge to the outside. And it's going to be this race between the 31 and the 21 to see who's going to get it in as everybody else looks green and green and in single file. So it's going to be very difficult to run them down. We're just going to have to watch the back of this pack and see who's going to make the cut.
All about finding that entry point where you feel the most comfortable with the car that doesn't get unsettled. And at the same time, you've also got to find the great exit speed. And right now, seeing a little bit of drivers of contact going to be made to the outside. It's going to be Allen, York, both falling back, losing ground. The worst of it's going to go to Chris York, but luckily still in the top 6. He's got to be careful. Santos waiting for just one driver to completely throw this race away. Kevin, one of the more interesting things about this track, there is no outside wall on the backstretch, and that means if you make one mistake, you could be sending yourself through the grass and completely off the track.
Yeah, on one hand, you go off the berm and off and don't crash anything, and you're not going to destroy the car. But on the other hand, you're off in the grass, and you got to kind of drive your way back out sheepishly, get back into the hunt. And I'm kind of surprised that these guys are mixing it up here. They have to know, to some respect, that one of the drivers had fallen off. They've got to be very careful. But they want to win. What else is new, huh?
Oh, that is all they're looking for. Biggest mover out of Tyler Conley can now move up another position of 4 spots. One machine now going to be moving up to 3rd place as everyone's single filing out. Up front, it's still going to be Ben Burgess and Trevor Graffam, and they have gapped themselves over 1.2 seconds over that of 3rd place. And this is surprising to see. Ben Burgess and Graffam, they continue to try to pull away. 17 laps to go here for the LCQ. Only the top 6 move on. But, dude, they can get racy here. But at the same time, Kevin, you don't want to throw away your opportunity to race in the featured race.
Yeah, and I'm sure they're aware of that. But yet, if the opportunity strikes and you can put the checkered flag out, you're going to grab it. And watching DeSanto kind of off to the side of us, his car looks like it's picked up a little bit of a push. Maybe he's gaining on the back of the field, but right now he's a touch off of the group to qualify. So right now, as they run, it looks like this is where they're going to be. But 15 laps, a lot of time to make up some space, get your rhythm, and drive your way into this event. We can't count anybody out at this period.
Absolutely not. That is going to be the big thing. You can make a simple mistake. Just go too far on the inside, hit the curving. You can find your car being spun around. Again, this is also the first time we've seen these drivers racing in the Legends Coupe. So it's been so interesting to see how the drivers we've been watching all season long be in the Legend and that of late models and super models in a completely different car now. And there's a different sense of how you want to attack. Right on board with Trevor Graffam, right on the back bumper, pressuring, trying to make the move for the lead, but just not close enough. It was trying to make a bump, potentially a bump run there. Respectfully backs out of it and trying to set up the entry, but it seems like Burgess with a better exit. But here's the best opportunity out of turn number 4. A 3. Not close enough, Kevin.
Yeah, the mission here is just stay on that front bumper. If you want to get the win, look for a mistake, or find your way where you're going to put yourself in and make the guy in front of you flinch. And he's doing a good job at being right there in his tire tracks, looking to seize any opportunity. He wants a checkered flag here with 10 to go.
10 to go, come to 9 to go when it's Ben Burgess trying to pressure, and it's Tyler Conley. He's closed in the gap with hard pressuring from our leaders, and just like that, Graffam gets to the quarter panel and now makes the pass into turn 1 and 2. 3's getting careful to 7. Could try to retaliate, but at the same time, you look at the speeds of these last 5 laps, it's been the 31 of Tyler Conley that's been the fastest driver. 8 laps to go as they come across the line, and our front 3 are right on top of one another.
Yeah, you have to wonder if Burgess decided it wasn't worth it and just pulled up and let him go a little bit. Now, if the car starts to come out from underneath you, no sense in risking somebody running you over if you're in a qualified spot. We saw Conley, who has driven from the back deep in this field up here to 2nd. He might try to see if he can score the win. Flipped the curb, but it didn't unsettle the car too much over there. He's still got a good charge on your leader.
And then we also have to fall back here. We got our back 3. This is Stephen Allen, Chris York, Chris Burgess that are all racing. This is 4th, 5th, and 6th. Technically, they're all still inside the top 6 that will be advancing to our featured race. It stands that Dan DeSanto that is hoping for a mistake, someone to wreck completely. Hasn't happened just yet, as Trevor Graffam, with that other Conley, Ben Burgess, they're all starting to spread out a little bit more. That last lap, it's Graffam that was the fastest driver coming across the line. 4 laps to go, and Graffam is feeling comfortable for the 3 up front.
By appearances, you watch these cars slide in. The track looks relatively flat, but it has 8 degrees of banking, and they kind of rotate the car in on that right rear tire. You can see how much the cars lean in. If the drivers don't charge the corner some, then it all makes the right front work and it will not turn. So it's really that balance of getting the speed here through the center of the straightaway, kind of curved, and turning it down in so that you can have the car arc through the banking and come up and connect with the racetrack up off the corner. It is such a balancing act, Sam, to get that right. As you see, the three goes sideways.
Flag is in the air, and just like that, our front three contact to be made. Grafham, Ben Burgess, they've got to get up to speed. This throws it all the way. Chris Burgess going to be all the way back in 7th place. White flag is out. Finish is done for Conley, but we wait for who's going to come across that 6th and 7th. Currently, right now, that is going to be seen. DeSanto making it through. Chris Burgess might be too far back. And that of Trevor Grafham somehow sneaking his way in, but that was disastrous at the end.
Unbelievable. You know, we talked about they want to win, but they can't throw it away. They can't make mistakes. And for DeSantos, it was Christmas on the last lap here in Maine.
He waited for a mistake, and it happened. Tyler Conley giving a bump to the 3, unsettling Trevor Grafham, and then making contact with Ben Burgess able to get back on track. And it's going to be Tyler Conley, Stephen Allen, Chris York, Ben Burgess, Dan DeSantos, as well as Trevor Grafham. Chris Burgess not going to be making it forward. Trevor Grafham taking that final spot, TLCQ. You hate to see it and know that someone's moving away. But before we go to a commercial break, got to give a huge thanks to our amazing sponsors that made this all happen. Going to be at that of B&S Scrap Recycling, BCC, Bruce Carpentry, as well as our title sponsor for tonight's race, that of Beach Ridge Barbershop, that Crescent Lumber, J&K Fuel, mainly ductless heating and air, that of Fortier Graphics, and Wiscasset Speedway. Thank you to all the amazing sponsors to make this happen. Driver's going to have warm-up. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back in just a few for a featured race here at Oxford Plains Speedway.
Hey, it's Wesley Outland on the set of the Bull Ring on Speed 51 TV, but I also want to remind everybody that you can keep up with coverage of esports with the Northwest Cup and Truck Series, the American iRacing League, S&B Cup Series, and so much more on your home for sim racing, LSRTV. Of course, remember, you can watch it, and then you can listen to it on CRN, the community radio network at wearecrn.com. Check us out when you can.
For the LSRTV, feel the roar in Daytona as the field comes to green at the world's center of racing. Ladies and gentlemen, you have a virtual race.
An automobile purchase shouldn't be hard. The hardest part for the consumer in the whole process should be selecting the vehicle. We have the online credit application. We can bring the car to you to see it, to test drive it, to deliver it. We have all the tools in place, and we've had them in place for a long time. I just think now we've perfected it. It's become part of our culture. We've, kind of taken it to the next level. It is easy, and it should be easy, and it should be fun, and it shouldn't take a whole lot of time.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Maine Sim Racing Series presented by mainly Douglas Heating and Air. Tonight, we are ready for 75 laps for our featured race. It's the Beach Ridge Barbershop 75 here tonight at Oxford Plains Speedway. We're starting up front. It's going to be that of Nathan Barth and as well Logan Blanchard. And with our top 10, they got inverted from where they qualified. Actually, those drivers were in 10th place. Second row is going to be that of Wyatt Alexander as well as Jason Rickards. Row number 3 is going to be bringing us to that of Brandon Barney as well as Matthew Burgoyne. Row number 4 is going to be having that of Jarrett Lamb as well as Devin Landry in the 82. And our final 5th row for myself is going to be that of Donna Curtis and Max Cookson. And Max Cookson with this pole award going to be getting himself $20.
Row 6 is Corey Berber in the 12. On the outside, 32 of Jacob Heathcote. Row 7, 13th starting spot for Ed Connolly in the 11. Kyle Mooney in the 90 is on the outside. Row 8, Bryson Parrott in the 27, and it's David Greenleaf in the 58, start 16. Row 9, Tyler Conley in the 31, and you got the 75 of Steen Allen to his outside. Row 10, Chris York in the 86, and it's Ben Burgess in the 7, starting 20th.
Finishing out our last row, drivers that made it in through the LCQ just by the hair of their chinny chin chin. It's going to be Dan DeSantos and Trevor Grapham in the 3. Up front, though, again, top 10 from qualifying. They got inverted. Well, it was not planned for the drivers. They didn't know that was going to happen until they got into the session. So all the drivers, they are now have to prepare. The fast drivers that qualified the fastest, they're back in 10th, 9th, 8th, and 7th. But for our leaders, they're hoping the track position is going to be the key for them to win here tonight. 75 laps, caution laps don't count. And the goal, get the win. You get $100. And we are prepared to go racing here at Oxford Plains Speedway. We're green as they head down into turn number 1.
Yeah, job number 1, don't throw it away early. Get yourself situated, find some space to race in, take care of the car, and then start to charge. It's go time.
Barth already going to be feeling comfortable. To the outside, though, it's going to be watching out because it's that 39 machine. Max Cookson wants to throw it 3 wide back there, battling just to move up to 7th place is the 39. There's plenty of space to go up there. And, Kevin, I don't think that was something we were expecting for drivers to try 3 wide, but it stalled out. Able to only gain just out of 2 positions. But up front, it's Nathan Barth, Alexander. They're feeling good with the track position that they gained from the invert. 3 laps in, it's going to be the 37 feeling good as we ride on board with Jason Rickards in the 8. We saw Kevin from the LCQ. It might have to take a bump if you want to get someone out of the way.
And you can see from that speed shot how much the suspension works. The track's relatively flat, but the car is under bind all the way around this racetrack, especially if you hit the curb. And these drivers are right at the crux, right at the edge of what the tire grip is. We see that high line up there. You can see the dark on the racetrack. And the question is, will they be able to make some time up there? You carry a lot of momentum up there, but it is the long way around, and we'll have to see if somebody's going to make that high groove work tonight.
And they're all in line. The train is set. The question of who gets the better run. The 5 going to be right on the back bumper. That of Garrett going to be pressuring the 38 of Garrett Lamb. And Lamb going to be doing his best to hold on. One of the faster drivers really able to move up currently. And some other drivers going to be having issues. First yellow of the night going to come out, and it's the 7. Driver that made it through the LCQ, Ben Burgess. He's going to be bringing out this yellow flag here tonight. First one, and do want to give note, caution laps do not count. Only green flag counts. See the 7 there. Still able to be running, and that's the key thing as we take a look at our first Pulp Poppers instant replay of what brought out our first yellow of the day. And oh, there it goes. A little bit of a self-spin on the straightaway. They had to throw the yellow for that.
Yeah, I think there was a car in front of him, flipped the curb, got a little sideways. He might have checked up. That makes the car turn left, flipped the curb. Also got sideways, and unfortunately it just broke traction and the car came around.
And also another driver that loved to see this yellow come out just to get reset. Chris York was a driver that got out of sorts and is going to be back in line with everyone else. These drivers do not have a fast prepared for themselves, meaning that they would have had a backup car. So if they get any damage here tonight, they're going to have to come into pit road and get it damaged if they get any required. damage from hitting the wall or something else. The drivers got to be careful for themselves to see what they're going to be doing. And I got to say, Kevin, this has been an exciting night of trying new things. And speaking of new things, we got a new voice also in the booth. We've got that of Jacob with us, of Jacob Young. Jacob, watching these drivers, you got to see the LCQ, got to see practice, a little bit of racing here. What are your thoughts so far with these Legend Coupes at Oxford?
It's been very exciting so far, and just something different for sure than what you're normally used to seeing on iRacing. It's very interesting for them to see, for them to just use that one lane. And we all know at the end of the day, most likely that bump and run's going to come out and hurt you.
We're excited to see how the driver's going to be ramping it up. Lights are out. We're going this time by. This is going to be 8 laps into this race when we go green once more. Pace car's off. It's Nathan Barth. That Wyatt Alexander going to be your front 2, and they are green. They're on the throttle, and we're going into turn number 1. It's the 37 holding strong into the entry, just showing the dominance of the inside on these restarts, Kevin.
Yeah, the race within the race after every one of these restarts is to get to the bottom line, and we'll have to see how that works out for the high side. You probably want to restart on the inside, but if you can get a good run and find a hole, you're going to take it as quickly as possible. We see the 9 of Ricker holding his own to the outside, but is sliding back. There he's going to dive into the hole. Didn't get it. Unfortunately, it closed up for him. Mooney able to close it in, but he got a good run off of turn 4 here, and it looks like he's going to work really hard to push down, and yep, there he goes.
Oh,
Excuse
boy.
me, coming through, going to make his own hole.
Yellow flag comes out, and oh no, it's Trevor Graffam. Absolutely riddled front end damage there. Here's our second Pulse Poppers instant replay of the night. Got to see a little bit of a glimpse, and see the 3 just running around. He was actually one of our biggest movers at the time, up 10 positions from where he qualified. But in a blink of an eye, everything can go away, and just like that, gets hit, thrown into the dirt, can't slow down enough, and also going to be seeing the 11 of Ed Conley making contact, but for the 3, damage was too much. It's already calling it a day, leave pulling it behind the wall.
Well, that's got to be frustrating to come off the racetrack and be on the binders, but unfortunately, when you get on that gravel grass surface, it's just going to slide until it finds something to hit, and both of them sound hits for both of those cars, and not a surprise to see suspension damage or whatever else that's going to take them out of the event.
Another driver also that got some major damage that is going to have to come to pit road. It can be Dan DeSanto that has required damage, and as well going to be seeing any other drivers if they feel like they need to get repairs done, and if they're going to be done for the day, or if they can get back out there on track in enough time. Trevor Graffam going to be the first official driver out of tonight's featured race. That is disappointment for one of our biggest movers before that accident came out. But here's another factor for us that we didn't touch on, is the fact, Kevin, that because of the caution laps not counting, if a yellow continues to come out every single time that we go green, these drivers could turn this race into a time-based race. They've got 50 minutes to try to finish this race under green. That means there's a little bit of pressure and tension that just each restart's going to be building for these drivers to make bigger and bolder moves.
Yeah, something unique to this that is not uncommon for the lower divisions is the driver, the crew chief, the strategist, and they got to pay attention to basically everything and understand the dynamics of the race. They're all tuned in specifically to what's going on. They know there's a timetable. I think they're not going to worry about the time thing till it feels like, wow, this race is running a little long. I'm just going to be hammered down looking out the windshield.
Just a factor that you got to keep in mind. As for the field, pace car pulls off. Let's see how this restart goes. As Barth, as well as the one of Varney, now going to be up to second place. On the loud pedal into turn number 1. Will the 1 get a better launch through the center of the corner? And here comes that of Brandon Varney on the outside. A lot of pressure and keeping it strong. The momentum is still good for the 1, and as well, watch out for the outside. Going to be that of Garrett Lamb, also trying to make that outer lane work.
Hey, a great run by Varney. He runs way up high on the straightaway to circle the car in to carry that momentum on the outside. kind of like a fighter jet, and he is still side by side, pinching the car down just a little bit so that he can get a good run up off. And we asked whether or not there would be an outside lane when we could clearly see that
Oh,
Barney's
they're going
got the
around
formula
back.
figured out. As you see a spin in the background, we're probably going to go to yellow here.
And it's going to be the 9.
Yeah, it was a 9 round.
Jason Rickards going to be bringing out this yellow. Oh, and it's the curbing. Oh, just the little contact that of Tyler Conley trying to stay right on the curb, and almost identical of what we saw that of the LCQ. Just the 31 getting onto the curb and making slight contact with the driver to the outside, and like that, the 9's going to be fun himself going for a spill. Luckily didn't get into the wall, so not going to have to come in for required time, but might come in just to see how much damage that of Jason Rickards collected after that contact.
You know what they say, 8 tires is better than 4, and if you're going to bump the curb and get the car loose, at least you have somebody to your outside to cushion the blow. That doesn't help the number 9, unfortunately, and Ricker going around. Well, you're going to stack them back up and again, but what was exciting to me was the amazing run that Barth had to the outside. I was so interested in watching how he extended the racetrack. This place is super wide, and in that context, if you go up there and you can carry enough speed through the apex of the corner, I think you can make that outside lane work. We've seen it in the late models and other divisions here. I'm happy to see that these cars are fast enough to make something out of that outside lane.
Oh, it's been incredible to watch and see, and bringing Jacob back in. Jacob, watching these drivers and how they're attacking, just like Kevin was saying, the outer lane seems to be a place where drivers can make some moves.
Definitely, and this was kind of a little bit of a shock to us for sure, as they just kept using their inside lane where it was comfortable. But using that outside lane, as long as you can carry that speed, has been well. It seems like it's got a little bit more grip, and as you move around, as long as you can make it work here early, it's going to be key, because we all know with that rubber buildup, that can cause an issue to where if you get out of line, you're going to spin around.
Well, with the timing of the yellow, a little bit of a change up for the drivers that are up front. It's going to be that of Brandon Varney, going to be having the lead. And saw the 7 there of Ben Burgess going to be getting a wave around for the 7 and will extend for at least one more lap. These drivers get set. But because he was on the outside for the 1, made the pass when the yellow flag waved. Varney now going to be in the inner groove. Going to be a lot more comfortable here, but this is going to be the first time we're going to be seeing that of Barth starting on the outside. See how well the 37 can get a run here to hold off and potentially have the lead coming out of turn number 2, which we're going to need a big run and get a great launch for ourselves. 13 laps in here at Oxford. We're going to have 14 laps when we start going green. Green flags in the air. It's going to be Varney, Barth, Alexander, Cookson, and Moody going to be your top 5 ready to go into turn number 1. And it's the 1 machine. What a launch, and out of turn number 2, clearing for the lead.
Yeah, no question the power of the launch on that one. He's down and away. That allowed the second place car of Alexander to drive up in there, and he's going to secure that position. Side-by-side battle for 3rd. Unfortunately well, it's just not going to work out, and he's going to tuck back in line. He's going to drop into 4th position there for Barth. So he'll have to cool those tires off and see if he can get a run. It's still early in the going, 15 of 75 here at Oxford, and they single file out here as we see some tussles out in the back. And how about Varney out to the front for the first time tonight after picking up right before that previous caution.
And Varney is someone that knows how to win here at Oxford. He's done it in real life before. Before we get to that talking point, yellow flags out in the air, lap 17. Hey, if you don't know about bull poppers, well, you should pick them out. They're great for that fly fishing goods. As we take a look to see what brings out the yellow here tonight, I believe it's going to be around the 58. This is going to be that of Greenleaf. Single file, pressure going on, and just loops it himself.
There was another car around the green, maybe 90 something in turn number 1. We might pick it up here. There it is. That car also had some extracurricular activity on the entry to turn 1 as the 58 was spinning. Not sure if drivers got into each other out there behind them checking up.
I think it might have been that of Melcher. Logan Melcher might have been that driver. You see the 58 goes sliding there, and then into turn number 1, there's more drivers that I believe go off track for a second. That was the initial catalyst that brought out the yellow, and you saw there the 86 also, Chris York, Melcher
43.
making slight contact afterwards.
I believe it was a 43 of Logan Melcher that was the other car involved there. No harm, no foul, though. It looks like everybody's going to pull away from this one, and we'll stack them up and do it again.
Not at all. And what I was going to be talking about with that of Brandon Varney is we've had our top 3, that have been dominating here in the virtual side of this series for the late models and super late models, that being Max Cookson, Devin Landry, Matthew Burgoyne. But if you look at the real-life world aspect, Brandon Varney, this is his track, a 4-time Oxford champion. He also has won 3 races in one night in 3 different cars here at Oxford. So Varney knows this track very well. It's not a surprise that the ones figured out how to get up front here tonight.
Yeah, there's always something special about running a place, we all probably have some track that we call our home track in the service, but when you physically call a venue your home, you live in that hometown kind of thing, or whatever it is that makes a connection, it makes winning there all the more special. And for Varney, I'm sure he would love to come away with the victory here tonight, as would the rest of these guys. It's just one of those things where they all probably love this track being from the region.
They're all hoping to get the win. This is going to be a special one if you can get it done. Green flags in the air. Varney, Alexander, a little bit of wheel hop. They're going to be 3 wide going into turn number 1. And just one little misstep just changed the front runners. They're now going to be 2 wide, 3 wide. It's Mooney going into the infield grass. And it's Wyatt Alexander taking the lead. Varney in second. And Max Cookson your top 3. And just like that, Kyle Mooney gets shuffled out. It goes from battling up in the top 3 to all the way back to 18th. And somehow we survived, and no yellow is thrown. We keep racing here, Kevin.
It almost looked like you hopped the wheel there. These wheels stick out just a little bit. The back of the car hopped up when he stepped on the gas, and everybody else kind of shuffled in and around him. Good for Varney to get that car back underway and, restrict that damage in second place right now, following Alexander and closing in. I think we haven't heard the last of him.
Absolutely not. And they've also got to be worried about this, man. Riding on board the back bumper of one of the fastest drivers for qualifying pole sitter, Max Cookson, because the invert of the top 10 had to start only back in 10th place, now up to 3rd as he sees that of Nathan Barth. However, the start in first place when we went green, we ran in 4th place, but Cookson going to be a driver to watch out for. But as we're inching closer and closer to halfway here, Kevin, battle for the lead is raging on, but at the same time, tire wear, that's got to be a factor for these drivers to worry about. They don't have an extra set. What they have on is what they're dealing with all for the rest of the night.
Yeah, we saw a lot of drivers spinning in practice. I think they were trying to find out, one, how long the tire wear would run and what the car was going to be like on the long run, and also how hard they could run on the edge. I think tire wear, you ain't going to worry about it. You're going to run as hard as you can without spinning the thing out. And I have to say right now, these top 2 breaking away, they are just incredible pace out front. They're not worried about tire wear. They are super fast right now.
You might have saw it coming out of turn number 4. Stephen Allen was stopped in the infield, made it into pit road, but the battle for the lead. Varney finally gets to the inside quarter panel out of turn number 4. It's going to be the one making the pass back to the lead. It's Brandon Varney back to his position where he feels the most comfortable. But the question now lingers behind. Lap traffic, and also a little bit of a spill behind them. It's going to be the 32 that gets slightly loose, but Kevin, it's chaotic at this point. 26 coming to 27 laps into this race, and now lap traffic's going to be a factor for the one.
And I think this spells trouble for these guys because if Varney's out front, he can pick and choose the line that he wants. He's certainly smooth and fast, which is a dangerous combination, but I don't think we heard the last of Alexander. He's keeping them honest, staying right there within striking distance. And yep, look at that. Lap cars will play a factor in this. The question is, will they get to any reasonable amount of what I'll call a gaggle of cars at some point? It's not out of the question here, and that could change the way the race ends up.
And that of Wyatt Alexander, second place, 96, trying his best. But Max Cookson, as well as Nathan Barth, and also that of Garrett Lamb, going to be 3 drivers finishing out the top 10. That of the 75, Stephen Allen, who went into pit road, just drove through and back out on track to 75. Going to be one of the cars a lap down, currently 2 laps down to that 75. But as the pressure is mounting, Nathan Barth, this is one of his best opportunities to go after Max Cookson, who, a completely different kind of racing style. Max Cookson dominated the late models and super late model vehicles here, short track racing this season. These legacy coupes, they're so different. The 5 gears you're working with, they're smaller, ton of horsepower, trying to get back on the throttle. Kevin, we were talking about it before we went live. Momentum seems to be the big key with these cars.
Yeah, and we're going to see something here, hopefully, knock on wood, a long green flag run. And that being the case, I suspect that some of these drivers who have a good mount underneath them, like Conley, we're looking at him, we know where he came from, the LCQ. He's up 8 positions, running 9th right now. Some of the fastest laps on the track. And, this long green flag run may pay dividends for these guys. They're still within striking distance of the leaders. It's not like they get past the car and have to run 8 seconds on some of the big, huge tracks that we run around this, small Oxford third of a mile. Yeah, we're all pretty in tight quarters. So if you have a fast car, you can get there.
3/8 of a mile in length is the Oxford Plains here tonight. The drivers are racing on. And it's one of those racetracks where we're going to be seeing more of it. If you want to see more of the Maine Sim Racing Series, we're going to be seeing them rocking the super late models here Saturday night. And that's going to be a handful for all the drivers. It's going to be a long one for themselves, as here we are inching closer and closer to halfway. Drivers starting to split up and find their own little pods of groups of where they're racing, as Allen's going to go high, let that of Cookson and Barth go passing. And now here comes that of Lamb, Bubar. Burdick could be trying to their best to get by the 75. So up front, it's all that of Varney and Alexander, over 1.1 seconds ahead of third place. Feeling calm and comfortable. But if we stay green, lap traffic could be a factor for those that are around that of 12th and 13th position, as that is also another cluster of drivers that can't get away from one another.
Yeah, there's something else we haven't talked about, and I guess these guys are used to it, but there's a bit of a fatigue in this. We have a racetrack near us called Mahoning that's circular in nature like this, and you fall out of the seat when you have a long run. You're just working really hard to concentrate every inch of the racetrack. It's not like a 2 corners in a straightaway where you could kind of let your guard down. Here, the straightaway is a corner in itself, and you have to set up the entry to the next one to get perfect speed. So the concentration level here is different than any place you race.
We talked about a yellow, and it strikes lap 41, and it's Devin Landry, the driver that dominated the late models, super late models on Wednesday night, and as well Saturday night's been the dominating driver. Take a look at what brings out the yellow here, as 82 and also that of the 11 going to be battling strong, and a little bit of a squeeze out of the corner, just wheel hops in. There they go. And no, Mooney also gets clipped in the 90. Hard contact to the outside wall.
Yeah, the 82 might have skated away from it, but it was Mooney that took the big hit here, and they'll stack them back up again. Now, what does this mean for the guys out front? If they ran a little too hard, the tires heated up a little more, and some of these guys will come into contact. One thing we haven't talked about is, if you're sitting back there in third and you're watching those guys drive away, sometimes you just ease off the gas a little bit, save some tires, and then you'll get them if there is a caution.
These drivers got their caution. Now they can cool down. Zed Conley, Kyle Mooney, both going to come into pit road to get service done. You want to give note, already out of this race before the feature even started. One is that of Chris Burgess, couldn't make it out of the LCQ. And then here in that of the featured race, that of Trevor Grapham and Dan DeSanto going to be your two drivers, officially DNF for featured race, leaving us with 20 drivers going to be on track, 19 on the lead lap. See how the drivers going to be attacking as bring back that of Jacob Young into the booth. Jacob, we're 41 laps in. I mean, we're past halfway. What are you expecting here on this restart?
Well, we're past halfway, just like you said. So the biggest thing, I think we'll see the intensity creep up a little bit more. I think the drivers will be even more aggressive than we've already seen. And I think it's going to be a little bit more cautions throughout these green flag laps, just due to the fact that, well, there's money on the line. When money is on the line, you're going to want to win this race and be as aggressive as possible.
And also with money is going to be the big factor. Only the winner going to get $100. So it's all the goal is get to the winning position. Kyle Mooney's still going to be in pit road. Looks like going to be going a lap down. Is the 90 machine? His drivers getting stacked up, ready to go. Base car lights are off. Going to be 42 laps to go. And if you look at the time, also going to be a factor for these drivers. We're closing into halfway on that factor. So we got a long green flag run that's needed. It allows these drivers to get inch closer to finishing out this race under regulation on lap. Green flag in the air, much cleaner start for that of Varney, and as well going to be that for Alexander. No one wheel hopping off on top of one another, but it's Max Cookson on the inside taking the advantage of being in third. Now up to second after that run, and right on the back bumper of Varney. Maybe this is the best chance for the driver that got the pole position. Already $20 in as, oh no, it's the 11. Tyler, that of Ed Conley, excuse me, going to be off track. No yellow is thrown. He's off the racing surface, but he's struggling to even get back on track, and he's got to be careful. Leaders are coming. He's back up to speed.
Yeah, trail of dirt following that car. That was just not a good replay there for Alexander in the 96. Didn't get a good run on the outside. Cookson got the jump on him, and then unfortunately just continued to bleed and falls back one more position to 8th, as we see the 11 car is going to be right in front of that of your leaders. Here comes Varney to the bottom, and he's got a new player in his rearview mirror. How about Cookson? Looks really good right now to the back bumper.
Max Cookson got the pole award because the top 10 had to get inverted. Had to start all the way back in 10th place, and he's done a great job for this 39 to be moving up. Best opportunities coming into play. Lap car ahead, can try to use that lap car as a pick to be moving forward. Right now, all the pressure is on. He's on the back bumper. A little bit of a nick to Varney's back. Flipping. Somehow they continue to race on. We're starting to see the tension is building. The lap is ticking away. That means all patience about to go out the window. Another big bump into that of the one into the corner. Max Cookson, he's getting slightly irritated. You can tell that by the way he is just aggressive into these corners.
He's playing a little Jack Nicholson. Knock, knock. Here's John. He's going to peek down low there. I'm glad that he just eased out of that. I thought maybe he'd get that left rear. Beating the back bumper of old number 7 there. See the Jack Daniels logo, and I'll tell you what, he's going to take no prisoners here. I'll tell you, it sure looks like Cookson wants to lead this thing.
Oh, he's just pushing him. He's pushing him through the front stretch and through the corner at that point. And it's going to be that of Ed Conley in the 11. Got to be careful where he's going to place himself. If anything, just getting out of the way would be the smartest move. But with the way that we're seeing Cookson driving right into the corner again, entry of 3 seems to be where the 39 is a lot more aggressive. But it's exit out of the corner where the 1 has the strength. The entry where Cookson wants to be aggressive, and once again, just beating and banging, getting him wrestled. And here comes that Garrett Lamb with an entry into turn number 3. Not going to be too pressured on that. Brandon Varney, he's holding the pressure as the laps continue to tick away. We're closing in onto that of 20 laps to go here in just a couple of laps.
You got to wonder how that dynamic works. When you push a car in front of you, it's like trying to push a building. It just doesn't move in these because they don't hold a lot of power. That could actually screw up the driver who's doing the pushing, as we see the 12 got around So Cookson's got to be very careful, but he is certainly rattling the cage of Varney there.
As we take a look here, it's going to be the 12 to 96 of Clyde Alexander going to be racing with one another. And it the curbing, finishing off the 12. Luckily, no one else was involved with that one. The danger of the curbs through the corners strikes out of Corey Bubar in the 12 and bringing out another yellow here. Going to be on lap 52. Again, caution laps do not count. These drivers can only race under green. Fuel-wise, good to be racing it to the end. But tire-wise, this caution is so helpful. It cools off the tires, allows them to reset for a couple of laps, and also lets the drivers calm down for a moment, but also changes how the drivers are going to be lined up. As Varney's most likely going to start on the inside row, going to be putting Max Cookson to the outside. Garrett Lamb's going to be in third place. That third place driver has primarily been able to make the pass over second place on these restarts. So Garrett Lamb could be the next driver in line to try to pressure Varney. It matters on how a restart we get, which, Kevin, I don't think we're expecting that many clean restarts moving forward.
Yeah, one of the things, if I understand the series rules correctly, is that race director calls the green. If the race director doesn't call, then they leave it up to the iRacing sim when it throws the green, meaning the flagman. And some of these restarts have been very interesting as to who gets the jump. Every once in a while, the leader gets the run, and other times it's a dead heat going into turn number one. So these restarts, while sometimes frustrating for the leaders, they're a lot of fun for us to see what's going to happen.
Well, we see another wheel hop. That's going to be the dangerous moment for these drivers. Laps are ticking away as we're going to be finding ourselves with that of 24 laps still left in this race. Pace car lights are off. Big thanks to everyone joining us here tonight for the Maine Sim Racing Series presented by mainly Douglas Heating and Air. Tonight's race, it's the Beach Ridge Barbershop 75 at that of Oxford Plains Speedway. It's been a fun one. My name's Tim Dyer. We got Kevin England as well, that of Jacob Young up in the booth as we are green. It's going to be that of Barney as well as Cookson side by side. And Cookson knows he needs to find the space, trying to cut down in front of that of Garrett Lamb. Not able to. Still side by side for second into turn 3.
Cookson looks like he has the advantage, but still not clear and able to pull down. It's Lamb running hard on the bottom. Now they're dead even coming up out of turn number 2. With Lamb has the advantage, gets a little sideways, is going to get a good drive off, and I think this time he'll clear him into turn 1. Here comes, well, where did he go? That outside lane just vanished, unfortunately for him, and I think he cut his losses and pulled back down.
It's not a bad call at all, but a driver that has been moving up from the biggest movers in the top 5 going to be that of Matthew Burgoyne in the 38 in the black machine. That is Matthew Burgoyne. Then in the 138, that's Garrett Lamb in the black, red, and white, currently in second place. Then in the 1, that of Brandon Varney, who's not in the lead, has held on after the brutal attack for Max Cookson, but we can't get racing. We're less than 20 laps to go, and yellow flag strikes once more. As we take a Pulse Poppers instant replay look at what brought out this most recent yellow. Now hopping on board, look at what the 7th point of view was, as these drivers late in the going, it's the curb, and once again, the curbing just such a dangerous spot. Then gets straight, gets moving, but the yellow flag already thrown, and you threw out fatigue, Kevin. I think that could be a thing that we're starting to see. Also, drivers getting out of their rhythm. We weren't seeing the curbing. Yes, they were riding on it periodically, but it's striking a lot more recently as drivers just turning in a little bit more and just glancing the curb.
Yeah, fatigue could possibly have something to do with it. I also wonder if it has something to do with the tire wear. Maybe these cars are not as secure as they want them to be going down into the corner, but whatever the case, I was looking at Cookson on the outside trying to see what the problem was there. And again, I think these drivers recognize that they're just abusing the car out to the outside, and their goal would probably be to get to the inside. And where is Cookson right now? He's running
It's gonna be
fourth.
Yeah, he's going to be in fourth place.
So
Also want to
not
give great
not
shout out
that
to
bad of a drop from that, but he was beating the bumper off of your leader off just a moment ago.
he was being aggressive, trying to move the one out of the way. Also want to give a shout out to that of Jason Rickard in the 9. He's done a great job recovering and getting back as the drivers are stacking up, getting ready to go. Jason, quick thoughts on yours. So you made the great call. Yellow flags are striking. Do you think they're going to continue on here tonight?
I definitely think they are. It's only going to be a matter of time to see what happens now with the 19 laps to go. And I think the curbing is going to be more of a factor given the fact that, well, they're out of their rhythm with these cautions, so it hasn't helped that they've gotten cooled down.
Base car is off, and we are green. It's going to be that of Garrett Lamb, and as well, 3 wide, waiting for the launch. And just like that, Max Cookson trying to make it 3 wide, going into turn number 1. Had to falter back, trying to find an opening, and it's going to be that of Matthew Burgoyne on the inside. Great launch for himself. It's still Varney holding strong in the lead position, but it's Lamb and Cookson. They've got to be careful. They're losing ground, and it's also Jason Rickards, but yellow flag waves. They're flipping. They're wrecking. It's the 90 up. Going to be finding another driver upside down, and just like that, a big one strikes at the 5 of Dominic Kirk. He's going to be the one upside down. Our pulse poppers instant replay. Well, Kevin, that didn't last very long.
Yeah, watch that 58. It's a little tap, 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 and turn around.
Oh boy, and the 11 as well. And Ed Conley, I believe, had hit the incident limit, and so the 11 already out of the race. The 5 had to take a tow. He's going to go into pit road. 90 with some heavy damage. And the 5 is going to have to stay in pit road for quite a long time once he's done with this tow to get required damage repair, as Ed Conley has officially been disqualified from the race. Too many incident points. These drivers only have 17 to work with. Majority of the field, they have used a ton of them tonight. Hoping not to flaunt any more, but it's 70 laps to go. Going to be 16 when we go green. With the caution flags not counting, that's going to be a factor for them to try not to get too aggressive on top of one another, as Cal Mooney goes into pit road to get service done for that yellow 90 machine.
Yeah, this is where you appreciate sometimes the drivers running a sim, is that was a hard hit. We've seen in the real world one of these cars hit just like that on a concrete wall, and it wasn't pretty. So always happy to see these drivers are able to hit the reset button and do it. But out front, the story's all been Brandon Varney. I'll tell you, the speed that's in that car, and it's consistent. A bunch of different drivers have emerged to take a run at him, but so far he's been able to control the race from out front.
We've also seen drivers that qualify on the inside road. They feel good and confident they can at least hold that position and move up. It's drivers on the outside that are losing ground and are in trouble. That means the 38 of Matthew Burgoyne starting on the outside, the 9 of Rickards, and also many others behind. They've got to be careful on this restart. Pace car is off, green flag in the air. Let's see who can get it done. Beach Ridge, Barbershop 75 into turn number 1. It's going to be that of Varney, holding strong. Again, these drivers, they're stuck with the set of tires they started the race off. Tire wear could be the factor in the way that outside lane isn't as competitive as it once was at the start of the race. As you're going to be seeing Varney, Lamb, they're taking off, as well as that of Cookson on the inside. It's the black 38 of that of Burgoyne, losing ground and trying to find a spot to slot back in. Coming up to 14 laps to go when they come across the line. Kevin, it's ticking away, and it's still that of Varney.
Yeah, Varney right now is in control of the race. It's up to these guys to get to the back bumper and see if they can do something with him. And we're going on that replay. Was almost a instant replay of Cookson on that last restart. He was stuck to the outside, had to slot back into 4th, was able to take advantage of that low line start and get himself to 3rd. As you look out of Garrett Lamb's back bumper, you could see how much work these cars do in the corner and how over the side they are on that right front as we get the 12 off the racetrack one more time.
Yellow flag waves on lap 13. Here's our full toppers instant replay. What happened to Corey Dubar? We'll find out as he was racing back all the drivers that are racing practically for last place. Corey Bubar, though, in the late model, super late model, he's usually a driver that runs in the top 5. And just a little bit of a tap in the entry of the corner sends the 12 around and bringing out another yellow here tonight. That was just such a small little tap, showing how these cars are at their limit, just entering the corners, and any unbalance, send them around.
I always loved that description they had of race cars where they talked about how much on the edge they are into the corner, that if you could stand there and freeze the car and give it a little bit of a push, it would send it around. And that's what that reminded me of. Just that little teeny tiny tap on that left rear sent the 12 into a broadslide.
Just hold on, spinning around, brought out another late yellow. Corey Bubar going to start all the way back in 17th place. We've got 18 drivers on track that are on the lead lap still. Ed Conley, Dominic Carrick, as well as Dan DeSantos and Trevor Graffam going to be your 4 drivers. Have called it a night here as drivers wait for the police car lights to go off and bring back in that of Jacob Young into the booth. Jacob, we've been watching up front the way that these restarts are going. I mean, for the drivers that are seeing these caution flags come out, how much do you really want to be up in second place in these restarts? Would you imagine they want to be in?
No, you definitely don't want to be on that high line, whether or not it's right now, you know, the 38 car or 39 car, whoever would end up being on that outside. You just don't want to be there because on the inside, you've got the best run. Sometimes they go 3 wide and then you're stuck in the middle and kind of get sucked back in the field. So we'll see what happens here.
And it's going to be that of Garrett Lamb trying to get on the lap. He got a much better launch. He's keeping it side by side into the corner, but right then in the center, just losing ground, goes extremely wide, trying to get as much speed as possible. And it's going to be that of Garrett Lamb trying his best in the black, red, and black, white, and red 38 but yellow flag waves. It's another wreck of back. Going to be that of
now
Mooney.
Cookson was to that back bumper again, and the yellow comes out. Will he go to third? He was trying to get to second as we watch what the incident was here in the back of the pack.
They were 3 wide back here. Still 3 wide into the corner. Yep, same, almost identical to the last wreck that happened. It's a little bit of a tap to the wheel well and sending the drivers around.
I start looking at the dynamic of this. Cookson did his best over the last couple of restarts to be in that odd position, so he's in the low line. Now he's to the back bumper where he wants to be. I think you got to kind of wonder where that last caution's going to be. You want to be in third for that caution so that if he's going to be able to get to Varney's, I'm going to say Barney because we have someone like that down here in Jersey, but Varney's back bumper, yeah, I think he would like that position, likes where he's at right now. He wants this thing to go green, and he wants to be able to tag on to the back of the number 1 and then control the destiny in turn 4 coming off of the checkered.
How much respect, though, are these drivers going to have? Again, there's no points on the line. It's just money. $100 to the winner. Money's
It's money.
We've seen here on LSRTV before in other money, all-star races and other leagues, drivers are willing to wreck for a little bit of cash. And even if it's just $100, even if it's $20, it could be for $300. You're going for whatever cash you can get. The driver's already got some money here tonight. Max Cookson, full award, got $20. Well, he might be hoping to make it $120 for the night. And he's already on the back bumper, green flag in the air. And it's going to be watching up the inside line. That 39 to Max Cookson. He might just do a shove, and he is running the one. The machine, they're tapping. Ooh, somehow Lamb and Cookson survived out of turn number 2.
Yeah, catastrophic restart for Lamb. I think he thought maybe he jumped the start a little bit, eased out, and unfortunately that put him in the back with everybody else. Now, Cookson got what he wanted. He's going to be stuck there in second. If he can get to the back bumper and track him down, maybe he can have something to do, as it's 10 to go here in Oxford.
In cracking into the top 5, going to be Devin Landry. Also want to give note to the 9 as yellow flag waves in the back. Oh, there's multiple drivers in this one. This is one of those wrecks where it just keeps piling on. 75, Steven Allen. You saw 31 Tyler Conley involved in this one. Drivers starting to get irritated. 9 laps to go. It's going to be 8 when we go green. 75 go extremely wide. What happened? Oh, boy. It's a weird movement there. And then also Greenleaf's going to be involved with that. And 3 drivers, hard impact out of Conley, Mooney. Also the 75, seeing that of seeing all the drivers in this. Kyle Mooney, though, he's frustrated. The 90's been in so many wrecks. He's now been disqualified. Too many incident points. Kyle Mooney, who at one point was up in 3rd place earlier in the race, is now out of it, done 18th, the best that the 90's going to get.
I always wondered what that sensation's like, to spin backwards and go off flying in the air like that. My twin brother did that at Bridgeport Speedway and then backed it into a pylon one time, and he said it was the most horrifying feeling ever. So even in the sim, when you spin and the car gets airborne, you always wonder how it's going to land.
I mean, that's one of the more it's basically like being on a roller coaster, but having zero idea on where the rails are and just trusting that you're going to make it out.
Exactly,
That
especially going in backwards. Yeah.
Not a good sensation. At least when you're on a roller coaster, you know where the rails are. You know how the track's going to be laid out. But when you are just trusting the wheels underneath you, it can get chaotic. Into pit roads, we Steven Allen gonna get repairs done for 75, potentially get back out there. We got 17 drivers still out on track. 9 laps to go. Got to be 8 when we go green.
They're going to go a single file restart, it looks like. Yeah, I was wondering what that was going to play for Jason Ricker being tucked in on the bumper, but looks like they're going to line him up wheel to wheel here.
That's exactly what they're going to do. Single file restart. Less than 10 laps to go. We'll see how this goes. What? Nope. We're resetting it. We're going to cross it. We're going to reset it. Drivers are going to be okay. I think they actually do want to make it side by side. It was just an error that they're going to be set up. So pace car's back out. We're going to try to stack them once more, and we'll try this restart once again here, Kevin.
Yeah, so now we can look at this dynamic again with Jason Ricker in that control position underneath. Let's see where it goes. Good start on the outside for Cookson. Banging wheels in turn 1.
Just a little bit. And now here comes Nathan Barth, who started qualified 10th, and was because the invert started in the pole position when this race went green. Now in second, you're just Cookson, as well as Burgoyne on the outside, just being helpless, losing position after position. Jason Rickards now up to 3rd after a great rebound after being involved in our first wreck of the night. But it's all that of Brandon Barney pulling away. Just seen the lap away. It's coming up to 6 laps to go. And oh no, there goes Lamb. Hitting to the inside. We stay green. And he'll try to get back out on course. Going up the brim, up the dirt. That's okay. We're green. 6 laps to go. Coming up to 5 laps to go. One of our heavy favorites now back in 15th.
38 is sideways here on the front stretch. They're going to pile into the wall, and that is not what Varney wanted to see. As we'll get to see that replay, Varney is probably screaming inside that helmet.
And we do it again. There's our full conference instant replay. What brought out caution? 5 laps to go. The drivers further back. Matthew Burgoyne here in black 38. Out of Ben Burgess. Burgess just comes up, takes out, goes in. Oh, Logan Melcher hard contact from 43.
He just clipped the curb a little bit there to help that situation along. Now, Barney's got to defend one more time. Coming in here and looking in his rearview mirror, he sees the 37 for the first time. And Arthur's going to line up to the outside. And again, Jason Ricker in a control position, sitting there in 3rd, following the leader through.
Last time Jason Rickers was up here, he found himself dropping back, followed with an earlier wreck, and now trying to come back with a chance to win. What a recovery story that would be. Brandon Varney, though, he's been up front dominating this race for the majority of the night. That's into pit road, going to be that of Matthew Burgoyne, going to get service done. We're now down to 14 cars officially on track. Currently would be 15 if Burgoyne gets back out there. As Tyler Conley, Logan Melcher, out of Kyle Mooney, Ed Conley, Dominic Couric, Dan DeSantos, and Trevor Graffam going to be our last drivers. We're going to bring up Jacob one more time before we get things going crazy. Jacob, what are your thoughts? Here going to be 4 laps to go when we go green. There's still potential of a couple more yellows, but what are your thoughts on these last couple of restarts?
Well, I think the inside's going to be key to be in. Of course, right behind him is Brandon Varney, I believe. Check that. Not Brandon Varney. Jason Ricker. Ricker's, watch out for him. If he gets a good launch on the inside behind Varney, that's going to be interesting, and I think we might see a bump and run.
Here we go. 4 laps to go. It's not who's going to win the East Ridge Barbershop 775 going into turn number 1. It's the 1. Brandon Varney as well as Adam Barth going to be side by side. Here comes the 6 of Ricker. He's going to do his best to hold off for second. They're absorbing practically out of the corner. Somehow now wheel hopping off one another. 37 still holding strong for second. 3 laps to go, but it's all that of the 1 rolling away and feeling strong. Now the 37 gets out of the way. This is Ricker's chance to try to make one last dash to make the path to the lead.
Yeah, time limit has expired, so I think these guys need to run this green to the finish here. As Ricker is at the bumper, will he use it to get the win? Varney needs to drive that car a little harder, make some space on the entry to the corner. We've got 2 to go here at Oxford.
White flags in the air. It's Brandon Varney, Jason Rickards, and Max Cookson, your top 3. Who's going to make the last dash move? Jason Rickards, one more opportunity to just send it into the corner. He's not close enough. It's the 1, Brandon Varney. He's won here in real life. Why not win it here on the virtual side? Winning the Beach Ridge Barbershop 75. It goes to Brandon Varney with also the cash of $100.
Yeah, outstanding display of driving here tonight for Varney. As my notes show that he picked up the lead on lap 24, and while he had a bunch of different contenders on the back bumper, he did not yield, just continued to be focused, and he comes away with a win here tonight.
And the 1 gets to burn it down. I mean, you called it, Jason. The fact the inside was where you wanted to be, and it was in a dominating fashion. I mean, he got the lead, never looked back. What are some of your thoughts here tonight?
Yeah, fantastic racing all around. So much fun to watch. I mean, once Varney took it, he was a control car for those restarts, and that was always key. If he could take off and get past everybody, he was going to be the 1 in victory lane, and sure enough, that was the case.
Well, as the 1 just parks it here and lies steady, we're going to take a look at our unofficial results for tonight's featured race. We had our qualifying LCQ. We got it to here where Brandon Varney finds himself going to victory lane for the 1, getting the $100 in first place. Jason Rickards, after a great rebound, going to get second place. Max Cookson gets 3rd. Devin Landry also a great rebound up to 4th. Wyatt Alexander, he was battling up front those first 15 laps, faltered back. The 5th place for himself, that of Nathan Barth. 6th, 7th goes to Garrett Lamb. Jacob Heathcock going to get 8th with Matthew Burgoyne, and finishing out your top 10 goes to Corey Bubar. Then going to be the rest of your order. 11th going to be Bryson Barrett, as well as Stephen Allen at 12th. That of Ben Burgess in 13th, Chris York in 14th, David Greenleaf in 15th, Tyler Conley in 16th, with that of Logan Melcher, Kyle Mooney, Ed Conley, and Dakota Curtis going to be your top 20. And finishing out the last drivers, going to be Trevor Graffam and Dan DeSantos, with as well Chris Burgess not able to make the feature race. We got to see him during the LCQ. Well, that's how the feature race goes. Well, there's still more action to be seen. We'll be back in just a few moments. We'll have our post-race show. We hope to talk to our top 3, get their thoughts on how the night went. We'll be back in just a few moments. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the post-race show for the Maine Sim Racing Series presented by Mainly Ductless Heating and Air for that of the Beach Ridge Barbershop 75 here tonight at Oxford Plains Speedway, where it was a barn burner here tonight, where we saw that of Brandon Varney getting the win. But before we talk to our winner here tonight, we're going to start things off with third place finisher Max Cookson. Max, I mean, we were watching you. We were calling it. You were trying your best to move the one out of the way. Was there anything you could do, or were you potentially thinking about just sending it into the corner and potentially wrecking the one to go for a win?
Well, it's just so tough. If you got to restart on the outside, it really set you back for a couple of yellows there. So you really had to try to position yourself to restart on the bottom, and then I was behind Brandon a bunch there, and I did everything I could without just wrecking him all the way, trying to get around him. But, you know, it can't really complain too much with third, but I don't really know what else I could have done in that one.
Yeah, Max, it looked like a game of chess out there, just trying to get yourself lined up. Maybe breathe the throttle when you thought a caution was going to go so you could be in that odd position. But how about that outside lane? There were a couple times you made it work.
Yeah, there was a couple restarts there I had where I just kind of sent it up there in the 3 groove for a lap, but it was just so tough to pass. You know, once you got rolling, there was only the bottom, and Brandon got the lead there early, and I did everything I possibly could to try to get around him, but I just couldn't.
Well, Max, before we let you go, the floor is yours for any shout-outs.
Yeah, I just got to thank Beach Ridge Barbershop and Sean and you guys and everyone who helps put this on. We appreciate it.
That is going to be 39 of Max Cookson. We now move over to second place, where we find Jason Rickard and find his point of view. Jason, you were up front early on, battling in the top 3. Then you fell back after being involved with the wreck. How was it, though, for yourself, just climbing for almost a chance to win here tonight?
That was a lot of fun. We got that little tangle with Tyler Conley, and it actually probably helped me save my stuff, trying to ride in the back there a little bit, follow Matt for a little, Devin for a little bit. They kind of got a restart that got a little messed up, and I was able to pick off 3 or 4 cars on the outside. And after that, like Max says, you were just trying to position yourself in an odd position and ride and save your stuff for that late charge. But coming through the back, I got too many X's, so that late charge was going to be a DQ if I made too much contact.
Yeah, Jason, we saw Brandon get away from you a little bit on that last restart. How hard were you driving to get to that back bumper?
Max is pretty intimidating in the back, even though I threatened him with his life or racing career that if he hit me, because I help him on his real race car, so that I would never help him again. And he still gets in my mind, so I was paying attention to my mirror more than I probably should have been. And that probably allowed Brandon to get out front a little bit there at the end. I wanted to make a move. I had 4X to give, but it is what it is. Brandon's a good dude.
Well, Jason, before we let you go, the floor is yours for any shout-outs.
RKM Setup Shop, they're always helping me out with setups and open stuff or open races. Max has given me a lot of tutelage, so I'll help give him a shout out. You guys, Beach Ridge Barbershop, Sean is in a thankless position, but we really do appreciate him putting on these races and stuff for us all summer, all winter long. Gives us something to do and get us ready for real racing.
As that was the 9 of Jason Rickard. Second place finish for yourself. Congratulations on that. As now we head over to Victory Lane, where we find that of Brandon Varney. Brandon, you got the lead early and you never looked back. We saw so many drivers hitting your back bumper. Was there at any moment that you thought, I might not be able to hang on to this, or was it pretty easy to hold on when you're getting tapped in the back?
Nah, I just focused on hitting my marks, running a consistent lap. I knew I was kind of a sitting duck. I had to use my tires up, and I knew everybody behind me had way fresher tires than me, so I was just trying to do what I could, and it worked out in my favor.
Yeah, I mean, I got to say, Brandon, it was an awesome race to watch. You got the lead. You looked fast. How does it feel winning here at Oxford? You've won it in real life. How does it feel, though, winning it virtual side?
Oh, it's awesome, man. It's always awesome to win, especially when you're doing it against Jason Rickard, Max Cookson, Matt Burgoyne. Those guys are studs, man. They're tough to beat anytime, so I'm glad to do it at least at the home track.
Well, before we let you go, the floor is yours for any shout-outs.
I got to thank Beach Ridge Barbershop for putting the event on, and Sean Kimball for keeping this thing rolling. Like Jason said, he's in a thankless position, and without him, we wouldn't be doing this.
That is going to be Brandon Varney going to be getting himself a win here tonight. Congratulations and have fun celebrating it. And also a big thanks to all the 3 drivers coming into the booth for interviews. As tonight, I don't know if we still have Kevin left. Kevin, I know you got to go run over to a race, but what are some of your final thoughts here tonight?
Just a blast to see these guys navigate this racetrack, the different strategies, the different lines, and you know, congratulations to Brandon Varney. He ran a flawless race, and he deserves a win.
And we're going to let you go, Kevin, so you can go race and have some fun. We're also going to bring in Jacob Young again. Jacob, thanks for joining us here tonight. What were some of your final thoughts here at Oxford for these drivers?
Yeah, the racing was fantastic. And just something... Well, it was a Legends race, so it was something cool to watch.
It certainly was a blast. 75 laps was the featured race. We didn't need to go into overtime, and we finished it all under the regulation of time as well. Thank you for joining us. My name is Sam Dyer. Having me with me was that of Jacob Young, as well as Kevin England, and all of the LSRTV studio, giving us all the camera, graphics. Thank you for joining us here tonight for the Maine Sim Racing Series, presented by Mainly Douglas Heating and Air. The winner tonight goes to Brandon Varney. For everyone else, have a great rest of your night. We'll see you with more racing action tomorrow night. We're excited for it. It's the Northwest